You're listening to She's the Business podcast. We all went into business to create a bigger impact and to really help people who are struggling, and by sharing what it is that we do best. Very occasionally, the opportunity comes along to create an even bigger impact. And that's what today's episode is all about. This is the story of one Ukrainian woman, a fellow business coach and somebody who is in my own business mastermind. Now, she came up with an idea of how she could help her citizens who are in the Ukraine, who are really struggling. And she took this idea and took it to launch in like 10 days. And I've brought it on the podcast because she really needed a way to help get this message out, to help her share what it is that she's created, that ultimately everything from that is going to support the people and families in Ukraine who desperately need our help. So if you've been wondering, but what can I do to help? Well, have a listen in and see what it is that you can even get involved in with this project, because trust me, it is truly inspiring what Alisa has done. Hi, I'm your host, Jessica Osborne, and in my 23 years of business and marketing, I've built many brands to become multi-billion-dollar companies. And just in the last 10 years, I've built 2 online businesses of my own from my dining room table with 2 little babies running around at my feet. I've made it my mission to inspire you to get out of your own way and become the successful business owner who's living the lifestyle you really desire without all the hustle. This is She's the Business podcast, made by women for women. This is your weekly dose of motivation and inspiration. I'm so excited to bring you this interview today with the amazing Alisa Kate. She's a business coach, a marketing strategist, and a messaging marvel, I would say. She works with female service providers who are turning their business into a coaching business, and multiple 6- and 7-figure entrepreneurs. Now, Alisa has come on to talk about something that she's done that she's even surprised about. She took an idea to launch in 10 days. Literally had the idea, 10 days later, she's launched. Now, and this isn't just any launch, and this is not about her business. It's not about making money for herself, because this is entirely 100% to support the people in Ukraine. She is Ukrainian. Her family is stuck there on the other side of the border. They cannot get out. And she was feeling helpless. She wanted to do something to help. So she leveraged the power of her business community to put together an amazing product for other entrepreneurs to purchase, and that 100% of the funds would go to Ukrainian, charities supporting the Ukrainian people and really bringing them what they need in this time of need. Now, what is amazing about this is that every single person involved has donated either their time, a product or a service that they have that is of incredible value. And everything is going 100% towards this cause. Nobody is benefiting from it. Nobody's profiting from it. And you just can see the amazing power of this community, because she has 50 businesses who all contributed to this bundle. And there's also been many people who are supporting with their time and efforts to help her pull this together in 10 days. I'm sure you can just already be thinking, holy moly, that is insane. It's been an entire website, domain, all the messaging, everything set up online and ready to go. And when you see it, I think you will be amazingly surprised, as I was, at just the quality of what she's put together in that short, tiny space of time. Now, this episode didn't even exist in our minds 24 hours ago. Alisa is a member of a business coaching group that I'm part of, a mastermind. And she put her hand up yesterday to say, does anybody have a podcast where I can come and talk to entrepreneurs and really share this project that I've been working on? And of course, I put my hand up and said, I am absolutely happy to help. This is an amazing cause. And I feel like I would love to do something to help. So we organized the time, we got together, and we've had this incredible interview where I'm not only going to be talking to her about how she pulled this off. How did she manage to go from idea to launch and generate at the time of us recording, it was 18,000 US dollars in 4 days already, and this is still going. So what she's done is creating an amazing impact and benefit that can be then provided to the people in Ukraine to be helping those who are and most in need. And it's just so inspiring what she's been able to do, and literally the help that you can get from people when you suddenly break down that barrier of like, oh, I worry about what someone might think if I ask them for help. If I ask people for help, what would they say? Well, you're going to find out. So I won't spoil any more of the details of this interview for you. Please stick around, because I'm about to play it and learn about what Alisa has done, what she's put together, how she even did it, and a bit about what this amazing bundle is that she's created and how you can get involved, how you can support this cause, where we're literally giving everything that we have to help the people in Ukraine. So please stick around. I'm about to press play on this interview for you. Hi, and here I am with Alisa Kay, who is the founder and a business coach specializing in messaging and marketing. We're talking today about an incredible project that Alisa has put together in the space of literally a week to support the Ukrainians in this time of need. So welcome, Alisa. I'm so excited to have you with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited too.
Yeah. So can you tell us a little bit more about what you do, who you serve in your business, and then I want to dive into this incredible project that you've just created out of nothing and have really got the support of your entire business community behind you, which is incredibly inspiring and, just mind-blowing, actually. So please start with a bit about who you are, and we'll go from there.
Absolutely. So as you have just heard, my name is Alisa Kay, and I help service providers and hidden experts become in-demand coaches. Usually, I would say that I am like the business strategist. I like to do everything by the book. We started with a money goal. I'm going to tell you about why that matters in a second. I'm very much like, let's cross the T's and dot the I's.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Start with the end in mind. And typically I work with women mostly. I come from a funnel making background. I used to be a copywriter for 6 and multiple 7-figure entrepreneurs. And I sort of started in this industry by a sheer fluke. I feel like a lot of like the divine timing things happen sort of on accident for me in my life. And it's very similar with this project too.
Amazing. Yeah, I can just see how that changes from what you were doing, and it's a natural evolution to then be like, well, actually, I can help you with more than just your funnel or more than just writing, although that's incredibly important. Getting the right messaging is just so essential, and I love that you start with the big money goal at the start, because what are we doing all this for? What is that goal? We've got to have the goalpost to aim for. So definitely.
Yeah, definitely. And actually, like, my coaching business started because my copywriting clients were like, I love the strategy sessions that we're having. Can you coach me? And I was just like, what, like Tony Robbins? What do you mean? Can you coach me? And it sort of genuinely evolved out of people being like, can you just do the strategy with me? And I was just like, oh, I thought we were just having nice chats, And of course, there is so much more to coaching than just nice chats. And now having, gone through education and so on and so forth. But I feel like a lot of the time when you work in the business world, we talk so much about the money and about the goals and the goal setting. And actually, the majority of us do this for the impact, do this for the freedom, do this for the, the social change that we as entrepreneurs make.
Yes, that's so true. And I completely agree. I work with women as well. And I think the whole subject around money is a really tricky one, because I think most of us aren't naturally drawn to it. We have a bit of an aversion talking about it. I certainly grew up in a time that it was impolite to talk about money. You just did not mention it. It was taboo. And I think that it becomes difficult because, yes, we've gone into business to make an impact. But yet if our business isn't making money, then we're not making an impact, or we're making like almost a minute impact compared to what we could make if we were really profitable and have that. So it's like, to actually achieve that goal of having the impact, we do have to make money in order to do it. Like, our business can make a much bigger impact when we are more profitable. So I think it's for us, I've certainly come on a big journey with it myself. And I think it's that, I don't know if we call it a coming of age or an evolution, where we get to that place where we think, it's actually okay. And it's a really good thing to make money in a business, because that means of the much bigger impacts that I'm able to create and make with all of the people that you support through your business. So, yeah, and not just as clients either, right? It's all the business community, your suppliers, people who work for you, all of those things, they all grow as much as your business grows.
100%. And I feel like, when the Ukrainian invasion happened, I was in a really weird position where my whole family, by, I don't know, you call it divine timing or call it a fluke, I don't even know the words for it anymore, ended up on the other side of the border. So, my whole family typically would live here. My mum is remarried, my stepfather and his kids live here. My dad usually travels. He lives sort of half in Ukraine, half elsewhere. And they all somehow ended up in Ukraine when, the airports were bombed. There is no way out. And basically there was just nothing I could do. And I was looking after my 9-year-old sister back home in the UK and, sort of horrifically watching the news and refreshing my news apps like everyone else in the world, looking at like, oh my God, what can I do anyway? And then when you add on this extra layer of your whole family, like all of the people that you love, bar maybe 2 individuals, are on the other side of this terrible thing. And you don't know whether they're going to get out. You don't know where they are, what they're doing. The Wi-Fi is down. There is no reception, all of these different things that were happening so quickly. And I just remember thinking to myself, oh my God, I've been saying, there has to be something that I can do to not feel so helpless. There has to be something that, that my business can help with for the people that don't have that many options, because I'm going to just get really frank here for a second. I feel super lucky to have a business that can support myself, that can support my family. Like, I feel really privileged in that I wasn't worrying that my parents didn't have a car to get into. They had options to go and flee. They had options to, pay their way essentially to a safe zone. But I was sat at home thinking like, okay, first of all, I can't get in touch with them. That sucks. But realistically, logically, they probably are okay. Number one. But number two, what about all of my friends who don't have those options? What about all of the people that I know, the people like, that basically essentially helped raise me, who don't have the same means and opportunities that I do? And like, what can I actually do to help them?
Absolutely. And I think that's where we start to feel like, well, what can we do? Like as one person, you can donate, sure, and that's something that you can do, but it feels like it's just such a tiny pebble thrown in a vast ocean, right? Of like, there's so much need out there, and these poor families. I mean, we're getting, it's heart-wrenching to watch the news and to see families being torn apart, and I can't even imagine what they're going through. And so tell us, you're obviously from the Ukraine, so your family is very, very close to home for you. And I can't even imagine what it would be like for you watching all of that news, having that background and your family being there right now as well. So you thought, what can you do? You're feeling helpless. Apart from just donating or doing something that's sort of a goodwill gesture, you've then come up with an idea. So tell us about what you did. Was it a week ago that you decided to put something together and leverage your power and your impact in the business community?
Absolutely. And, I kept seeing these, people who were very well-meaning. Let me just preface this with that. Were sending me like prayers and good vibes and, saying things like, I'm going to sit in a long, deep meditation and, pray for peace. And I'm like, okay, well, that's somewhat helpful, I guess. Thank you for your prayers. But actually, you have a voice and here are all of the things that you could be doing. So for me, it started with calling the embassy, trying to figure out what can I do on a local government level. This is like a boring conversation, right? Like that's not necessarily the sexy things, but that's where I started, right? Yeah. I started on a local government level, trying to figure out like, okay, first of all, family, right? Family first. What can I do to help the people that, I can actually help? That's thing number one. Because the other problem was that my grandmother didn't have a visa, and we were trying to get her like biometrics, and it was all a bit of a lot of hassle. Let's put it that way. The second thing, I was like, oh my God, I need to stop spontaneous crying, because there's this like little 9-year-old who doesn't know what's happening, and it's not going to be helpful for me to just be, just bursting into tears every 5 minutes. So I was sort of trying to keep it together, and I was like, okay, well, I'm supposed to be going into a launch for my 3-part series that I've been prepping for, the last 6 months. So I'm supposed to be like, I'm running ads. We've got, the people coming. We're adding people to my list. Everyone's excited. We're like, doing whatever, the ping pong strategy. Everything's going swimmingly. The conversion rates are converting really well. And I was like, well, I can't launch right now. There is no way that I can be supporting anyone in this situation. Like, I'm barely supporting myself, emotionally speaking. I can't be launching right now. My partner came down because I was here by myself, and he was like, okay, you need to like do a bath, go have a bath, light a candle, sit in it, relax, cry if you need to.
It's so British. Do a bath.
Yeah, to the bath.
For everything.
Have a tea. Exactly. Go have a bath and have a tea. So he made me like my favorite nighttime tea with like valerian root for calming the nerves. Like, what didn't really help, to be honest, at that point in time. But I sort of sat in the bath, and I was like, okay, I have to turn off my ads because I can't launch. And then this word kept coming to me. It was like bundle. And I was like, my brain just turn off. Like, this is sort of like a fly, wafting around. And it kept coming back to me. And I was thinking, oh, I've seen people do bundles before. I've never done a bundle myself. I sort of always toyed with the idea that it would be a good way to, grow my audience. And I was thinking, oh, I don't really want this to be that. Like, I don't want people to jump on this because they think it's going to grow their email list, right? But it just kept coming back to me, bundle. And I was like, okay, well, what if I could like ask 3 people? It might be like up to 10 max is what I thought in my head. I was like, okay, a few of my clients who I think would be like, good for this specific project. Maybe a few of the people I have worked with in the past, they might say yes. And I was thinking, okay, well, if even one of them says yes, it would be a good thing. So I came out with this bath. It was 1 a.m. at this point. And I said to my partner, Alfie, I was like, Alfie, I have an idea. Bundle. And he was like, what is a bundle? And I was like, okay, let me paint this picture for you. And I think he sort of went along with it, because for the first time in like 3 days, I looked like I had some color back in me, and I was sort of excited about something. And I was
You've got a purpose.
Yeah, exactly. You can fundraise, and I can post about it in my group, and it'll be great. And he was like, sounds great. So there I am, 2 a.m. at this point. I'm writing a post to our mastermind group, like, hello, what would be the legal implications of this bundle? And then the first comment that comes back is like, oh, I don't think you should do this bundle because it's just better to fundraise. And I read this comment and I genuinely got offended. I was like, no, I fundraise, I donate anyway. Like, the whole point of this is people coming together. And at that moment, within like 20 minutes of posting that post, I knew this was the right thing, because my gut was telling me, no, you have to follow your gut. At this point, it's not enough. I donate, like, a lot of people from what, the profit that we make. I love my community. I volunteer with people. Like, I do my bit. I genuinely do love, the legal aspect of the system. Like, I'm a law degree dropout. I've sort of had a quarter life crisis way back when, and I still sort of sometimes use my legalese, right? On the side. But for me, I don't know, there was just this gut feeling, this internal voice in me that was like, no, this is the right move. And you just have to make sure that you attract the right people to it. You just have to make sure that people who are, who might jump on this, who might use this as a list building opportunity, know that, no, you don't get access to all of this stuff. No, the best way for you to support it would be still to donate. I know you do not get like a Excel spreadsheet with all of the email addresses. People will have to opt into your training. So I sort of had an idea of, okay, I know the 3 core things. No, you do not get emails from everyone who buys. They have to opt in. Here is the idea for it. When does it launch? As soon as humanly possible. And I thought it would be a day.
Yeah.
I really overestimated my abilities, but it was like 5, so I think we still did a really good job of getting it out within a week of that initial idea.
Yeah, amazing. So tell us what it is, like, what is the bundle and what have you put together?
Sure. So the bundle itself is, we have over 50 contributors from different walks of life. So we have people like Alisa Johnson, Gemma Wendt, Gala Darling, Tarzan K. We have all of these really great sort of business leaders, but we also have a lot of great spiritual mindset, podcasting experts. We have so many different people from a spectrum of different things that came together. And I'm sort of lovingly calling it the A to Z, bundle for entrepreneurs. Because you get in and you don't just have business building stuff, which is super important, but you also have that, mindset. There is like a 3-part retreat series, like your own retreat at home, which I thought was just really lovely.
Amazing.
Kundalini yoga for stress, all of these really amazing things that come in this basically package.
Yeah, absolutely. And so people have donated their products, a service or a course or a program into the bundle. And then I guess all of the contributors are also sharing the bundle, right? Because you've launched. And I think that this is really the impact. So you've got obviously your impact you could always have to your community, but the real power of this, which I find just so incredibly exciting and inspiring, is all of these people have not only contributed their something of value to the bundle that people can purchase, and the proceeds are all going to a charity in Ukraine, right? But everybody who's involved are also then, sharing this to their audience. And so the impact has gone from something that's one person and, your own circle to being a much, much bigger splash in the ocean, like a huge rock is going in now because you've got 50 people and then even more, haven't you? We've got people who've been donating their time and energy to help you pull this together.
Absolutely. I thought to myself, okay, because I have a really great client who was helping me put together the funnel. And she was like, do you not think we should cap it at like 20? Like, this is insanity. And I thought to myself, if every single one of those contributors, 50 people share it, and even one person buys it from their audience, we've made $5,000. That's what I thought to myself. And that would be good enough for me, because I really didn't have, to speak back to what I initially said, I didn't have a money goal for this launch. I just really wanted to put this in front of as many people as possible, because I kept seeing online people going like, but what can I do? But what can I do? I don't know what to support. And can I just get really honest for a second? I actually posted a bad link. The first day this happened, I posted a fundraiser that apparently or allegedly was fake. And I donated to said fundraiser because I was just in a haze and I didn't check like the source. I just sort of donated because a lot of people were sharing it. And I thought to myself, no, I have to do the homework for this. I have to figure out what are the specific places that mattered to me, which is what we did. We then went and did research, and I got in touch with the hospital that I was born in, right? With the hospital where my one of my dad's family members, sort of, I don't know, third cousin, twice removed, whatever, however you like to say it, works in Kharkiv, which has been really severely bombed, and they've had a really tough time with shelling and the structures being essentially decimated. So we really wanted to support that city too. Then the Red Cross that I've done volunteering with, we found a cryptocurrency like for emergencies fund, because part of my research was like, oh, the bank cards are blocked, so you might be sending money, but people can actually access the money. So like that's another layer, So I've been sending my friends' money into cryptocurrency wallet. Like, I didn't know what cryptocurrency really even was 10 days ago,
I know, it's a whole big can of worms that I haven't delved into either. I'm like, oh, it sounds
I don't know what this means. My stepbrother, bless him, is helping me figure it out. But the point being is that I really felt very passionate that the causes that we were contributing to were really verified and actually legit, and I knew where that money was going, and it wasn't in just sort of mythical cloud that would just make me feel better. It was actually affecting the change that I really wanted to see. That's thing number one. And thing number two, I really wanted to act, and the name behind the bundle, which is called Act Louder for Ukraine, was to help people figure out how they can act in support of the causes that matter to them, and how they can rally around something that is actually done by someone of the Ukrainian heritage who knows what they're talking about. Because no shade here, but I think a lot of the things that some people are doing, they're just doing it out of, sheer want to grow their list. And that's fine. That's, karma on them. But I feel like the research really matters. And I feel like the mission really matters too.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's it. I just think, as an entrepreneur, especially somebody who's established and got a successful business, you've got a platform and an audience to get a message out. And I think thinking of a way that we can use that, that impact and power that we have with an audience is so incredibly, what's the word? That is the best thing that we could do, because we're reaching so many people, and you've got now a way that they can contribute to this cause and not have to worry about, well, who do I donate to? What's an actual real charity? Where should it go? Because you've done that work, you've done the homework, you know where it's going, and that they are the right places where it's actually going to get to the right people, and it's not going to a scammer. Gosh, I just cannot believe people leveraging an opportunity like this to do something like that. The amount of bad karma coming back on you if you do such a thing would just be terrible. And yeah, I'd love to hear about, the charities that you've selected and where it's going, and also tell us how it's going so far, because you've actually already launched. So this bundle is open right now. You can buy it today. So yeah, tell us about the charities first, and then tell us about how the launch is going since it's gone live, and what that experience has been like for you as well.
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, as I just mentioned, so we're donating primarily to hospitals and refugees. So one of the charities is the Red Cross. The other charity is actually TBC. I've got one more interview that I'm doing with a charity. Because what I'm trying to find is a really great place to donate for feminine hygiene. Specifically, people who are looking after the refugees that are having female health problems, who had, perhaps procedures scheduled that were cancelled last minute, that, need access to tampons, to pads, to, female health, essentially. And it's really important to me that I find the right place that I actually know is verified. So I've been doing quite a bit of research about that in between this launch. So sort of TBC on that, the page that we'll share with you guys will probably have an updated, link on that if we found somewhere. But if not, I'm sort of in the process, because that's something that, really sort of matters a lot to me, that every single woman has access to female health. I think it's just basic standard decency.
It's something that you just kind of don't think about, because it's there, right? And life happens. And I'm sure a lot of the charities are focused on, right, people need food, water, shelter, the basics of life, especially when your whole existence has been turned upside down, and maybe your home doesn't exist anymore. They're really important. But yes, for every woman, and it's so many of, from teenager all the way up to when they're middle-aged, that's actually something that's a basic need of life to even feel like a human.
But it's an embarrassing thing too. If you're like, frankly bleeding and you're walking for 24 hours to the border, and there is nothing you can do about it because there's no toilet, there's no nothing,
Yeah.
I just really want to find somewhere that is actually properly helping those people. So that's one avenue, right, that we're looking at. Then there are hospitals. So
yes,
the hospital in Poltava, which is where I'm from, where a lot of refugees are coming, and a lot of wounded are being transferred there. And we're supporting hospitals in Kharkiv too, which, as I mentioned, is really severely bombed. We just donated to the maternity fund in Mariupol because of the horror that happened just yesterday there. And yeah, the Red Cross, because I don't know, I've never heard of the Red Cross ever doing anything wrong. So unless I haven't done my homework there, please come to me with any shady Red Cross stories if you have them. But to me, Red Cross is like, sanctioned everywhere. So we're supporting the Red Cross too.
Fantastic.
Originally we were going to buy more supplies, but actually they're asking for money now. So that's what we're doing.
Yeah, that's excellent. Just give them what they need. They've probably got all of the supply networks and everything in place for them, because that's what they do, right? They're the experts. So that is just incredible. And tell us, so what has the impact been so far? How long has the bundle been live, and what have you already generated for this cause?
Absolutely. So we have been live for 4 days, and so far we have raised $18,000. We just crossed that mark today, a few hours ago, which I am so happy with. Honestly.
Wow.
The amount
That's incredible.
I'm genuinely speechless. And I was doing another interview earlier today, and she was like, I think we can hit 50K. And I was like, really? You think we can hit 50? She's like, you've done that in 4 days. So I guess the unofficial goal now is $50,000. If we can raise, to be honest, my internal goal was like, if we can raise 5, that will really impact some people. 18 has just been incredible in 4 days, with just literally, I haven't even mapped the messaging for this launch, which as a messaging strategist is like the cardinal sin, Genuinely, this has come down from people sharing the bundle, people sharing. We created a launch squad handbook with swipe copy and swipe graphics in the pre-launch phase. So, people have just been sharing those 3 posts that we created for them, and really screenshotting, resharing in their stories, posting in their Facebook groups, like yourself, who's been very, very lovely and gracious, letting me come on here and talk about this project, right? It really is very much community driven. And I think that's the thing that I'm most proud of, is all of us coming together and really, acting in the name of something that we believe in. Because how many of us say that, we want to impact, and how many of us really secretly don't?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why when I saw your post yesterday saying, how can I share this? How can I get this word out? Are there any podcasts? I was like, absolutely, you can come on mine. Let's do it. And we've turned this around in less than 24 hours to organize this interview, and I'll get it out there and share it with my audience. And, next time you're doing a bundle, if there's another one after this one, then you can absolutely count me in for that, because, anything, I just feel like anything I can do, then this is something that's easy. I've already got, I've got a platform, I've got a podcast, I've got an audience. And if I can help in that way, then that's that's just wonderful. So that is incredible. So the bundle itself is $97. Is that right? 97.
Yeah, so we're asking for a minimum donation of $97, which means that each product is less than $2, literally each. So
yeah. And there's some amazing ones in there.
Yeah, genuinely. I'm like, am I crazy? Am I crazy? This is my program is like $997, and people have, bought it for that plus more for the VIP version of it. Plus all of these other incredible trainings. I think the value far succeeds $5,000.
Yes.
I think I did that count when it was like 30 products, but we're not going to mention that, right? it's like $5,000 plus.
Yeah, and scrolling through the page and just seeing the values of things, like you're getting programs that are, hundreds of dollars each, and there's 50 of them, for 97, or, add on, as you say, add on whatever you feel that you want to contribute to that, which I think is such a great way to pitch it as it's such a small amount, 97 to put in. You get so much value, and then you can add on whatever you feel you would love to, if you want to donate more, then you absolutely can, which is, and you're just making life really easy, I think, for anybody who's feeling like they want to contribute.
Hopefully you guys in the podcast can't see, but I'm crossing my fingers and toes too. That was really the original thought behind it, is that, we've seen all these different bundles come to fruition, and I know I've bought a few too. In fact, one of my favorite mindset mentors, her name's Gala. She's right at the top of the page because I've invested in everything that she does after doing her tapping membership, and she very graciously offered up her tapping membership for a whole year. So if you want to come and do EFT tapping with me every Sunday, that's where I'll be, in tapping church with Gala. Then, I've bought a lot of these programs myself too. I've invested in at least 10 people on that page. So, it's not just random people of the street. They're people that I genuinely do know and trust and have used their products before, which is just adds like an extra layer of sweetness to this, because they're people that I know actually do really great work, and they're people that are genuinely heart-centered and want to help the world,
Yeah, absolutely. It is, if you're listening to this or you're catching us with the video, because this will be going up on my social media channels as well, grab the link and just check out this amazing bundle that's been put together. There's almost anything that you could think of to help you as an entrepreneur in your business, and even in your life as well. Like I've seen there's books in there, there's programs, there's courses, there's a membership, like you said, EFT, which something that's a little bit new to me, but I'm like, that piqued my interest too. And your own program, I mean, at $99.97 normally, and you've put that in. It is a power-packed bundle, and it's worth just so much more than the price tag on it. So, everybody who's contributed has really, they're outdoing themselves to have already got to 18,000 in 4 days. I think how many days are left? About 10 days left.
10 days left.
10 days left. Yeah.
Kills. Yeah, and I think here's the thing. I never thought in all of my wildest fantasies that I would be able to gather these 50 incredible powerhouses together, get so many yeses, and get people actually saying people were upset that they weren't featured in the bundle. And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry, but we had to get this ready for launch, and I can't change the things at this point in time. So for me, putting this whole thing together really started as a idea. And I think how many of us sit on great ideas and don't act because we are so stuck in our head, because we think, well, my audience isn't big enough. My thing, whatever, my business is a baby business. This so-and-so big person is never going to say yes. And actually, if you just did the things that you thought about, right? And if you just asked the people around you for help, you probably would be able to enact change or whatever it is that you want to enact,
Yeah, that is so powerful, because I think, you've gone from idea to launch in, 3 days? It was less than a week of having that idea. Then it's out there. It's been live now for 4 days. But pulling that together in that amount of time, doesn't it just make you think, gosh, what do I do normally when I'm figuring out a launch? 6 months of planning and all
of this. 6 months of planning.
And perfecting it all and building all this stuff. And that is great. But gosh, doesn't it just show you when you've got a reason and an urgency to act right now, what you can do, and look at what's happening. It doesn't matter, it may not be perfect. Like you said, you haven't put it together. By
the way, I haven't even emailed my list. This is the insanity of it. I have this beautiful 10-part email sequence ready that I was toggle off. And I've just been in my group and on my profile being like, hi guys, so this is happening. We're going to just do this messy and see what happens. And I think sometimes there can be an argument for preparing and feeling ready and getting all your ducks in a row. But at the same time, sometimes you just have to act messy and trust in your internal intuition, into your internal guidance system, and listen to that inner voice in your head that is saying, no, you have to act now. No, now is the time. Stop sitting on this idea. Stop sitting on whether it's a platform that you're interested in, I don't know, a course portal that has tweaked your interest, or even a social venture like this. I feel like acting first and then thinking about it later, in my experience, has always proven to be a good thing. I
think so, because right now you've got the energy is behind this, you've had the vision and you've just gone boom, straight into implementation, because it's clear. And you're putting it together, literally the plane while you're flying it. It's all happening as it's happening. And but that's okay. It just shows you what is possible. Let's stop putting all these barriers in our way of doing something. And I can so relate to being on both sides of the fence. I think I thought about using a platform for about a year before I signed up to it. And then, another time I did the exact opposite. And when I was putting together a group coaching program, I almost got derailed because I saw someone's comment in the group saying, I think I'm going to vomit if I see another group coaching program, because they're just everywhere. And it almost made me go, oh my God, I better not put it out. And then I thought,
she knows, she's been watching me.
Yeah, she must know what's going on in my head. And I just went, no, that I am deciding to do it. And I just did it. I did it messy. I did it my way. I put it out there. I didn't care what someone else had said. And, it worked. And it's like we are often in our own way, aren't we? And I think when you're in that, you've got that energy and that power, putting it out now, like just getting it done and doing this, that's exactly the right thing to do, because you're just going with that momentum. Like you've got this huge momentum happening, and you've just got to ride with it and go with it, I think, is how you get the biggest impact. Because imagine if you waited and waited, every day watching more and more things happening in the news, you could really spiral into a place of despair.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, sometimes these great ideas come to us in times of great desperation. Like how many people who've risen up from, totally terrible circumstances. And like the quote that comes back to me is something that Tony Robbins says. I love it or hate him. I think this is a great quote. Yeah. If you're in your head, you're dead. And I think this is such a truth, a universal law that it just rings so true for me, at least. Like how many times have I stopped myself from doing the things that I knew would be great. Like even, let's talk about TikTok for a second, because everyone in the business world is talking about TikTok right now. And I remember when TikTok first came out, I made a TikTok and then I was like, not sure. All of these people are going to judge me. Like all of these 12-year-olds are on there, and like, what do I have to contribute? And, I didn't miss the train. I can still go back and do the TikTok thing, but like how many times, and I remember when YouTube came out and I like did a beauty tutorial, right, way back when, before, first of all, I'm nowhere near a beauty guru. This is like, 14-year-old me way back when. But, I think about all of these missed opportunities that I say missed in quotation marks, because I think we are where we need to be always. But how many times have you let yourself down and you sort of regretted not taking action when there was an opportunity to take action? And I think that's such a universal thing for us entrepreneurs, where like money likes clarity, money likes speed is something that I really live by, And how many times have we missed out on creating more money for those that we love the most, for creating more money for ourselves, right? And for creating more impact with said money, just by getting into our heads and thinking too much and too long about it. I guess my little mini TED talk here is to say that if you've been sitting on anything in your life or in your business, like now is your chance. You get to make that decision today, right now, and decide that, what, from this moment onwards, like that past me was dealing with whatever she was dealing with. Today, I get to make a different decision. And today I get to act in the way that I want to act and be the way that I want to be. And I think that's the power of today and the power of choice,
Yeah, exactly. Today is a new day, and you can choose to be that next version of you right now. And you can leave old you behind as like, well, that was that person, and that's what they decided, and they're in the past now. So that doesn't have any impact on who you can choose to be today. So I love that. That's really powerful. And I think that whole thing about being in your own head, the thing is that the negative, the what ifs, like the tiny little like, oh, but what if, and where you're like, someone doesn't like it, or, those are always so minute when you actually think about the positive what ifs, like, but yet we blow them out of proportion, don't we? Like anything that's negative, that little bit of risk, like, oh yeah, what if that doesn't work? Or what if someone doesn't like it, or whatever? Like, so what if they do? Okay, like, what if it does work? What if this is the best thing ever for you? What is the actual, the other side? And we're never quite as well trained to think of that. I think we automatically always think about the negative and the risk, and we run away from it because that we blow it up out of proportion. When we're inside our own heads, that's the voice that's the loudest. And I think learning to recognize that voice, like you say, get out of your head, turn that voice off, and actually open your eyes up to, well, but what about the other what if? What if this is good? What if this is the best thing ever? What if I can make it happen? What if I can reach out to those people and, like you did, like you got these incredible people on board just saying yes straight away, and you've got 50 people, and like you said, you've had even more offers. And you've just got to stop. You've got to stop somewhere, right? Because a bundle can be too big. And
I know. I'm like, if I touch something on that page, it will break, and then I have like 1,001 emails being like, "It's broken. What have you done?" Like, no, thank you. That we have to have a stop. But you're so right in that, like, in the what if we look at the positive what if, and I'll tell you more than that. If you look at the research, and let me just geek out for a second on, the messaging perspective and how we function as a community, we are tribal beings, right? There is so much research that shows us that, we want to be in groups, we want to be in communities, we want to be, in a pack. And the trouble that we as entrepreneurs have is that it's encoded in our DNA that if you step out of the pack, that's danger. So anyone who is like shouting from the rooftops, our bodies have literally through generations upon generations been coded to stay in a tribe, to stay within the pack. And anytime you try and do something different, whether that's quit your job or launch the program or do your own podcast or launch a bundle, your body's automatic genetic response is, oh, that's dangerous. I'm trying to be the leader of the pack. That usually leads to death. And that's our monkey brain talking, right? So the fact that even you've managed to do anything with your business and step out already means that you're on the right track. And let me just say one more thing on top of that is that if you're getting that voice that is saying like danger, what if these people think this? It's usually you being on the right track. If you're having these thoughts, it means that you're yearning to do something. And it's usually that voice is, I call it the voice of love, as silly as that sounds. It's like your inner self trying to protect you from doing a scary thing. And usually success comes at the other end of the scary thing. Yeah. That's so true. Yes. And I was just thinking, like, when we're all of those times, that whole thing about not wanting to step out of the pack and do something different. And it comes into this and that whole like, I want to do this, but what is the right way? It's that whole thought, I need someone else to tell me, or I need someone else to, validate how I'm doing my pricing, or validate this for me, or give me some kind of approval or permission. It's because we're like that whole needing to be in that group and stay where you are. Like it leads into all of that. And it's so interesting, isn't it? Because I'm always like, well, there is no one way of doing anything. And, you can actually decide what is the right way for you. And it doesn't really matter what anyone else is doing. And I think that a lot of my clients find this a little bit challenging at first, because I'm always pushing them to be like, just because that's what everyone else is doing, that doesn't mean that you have to do it that way. Like you can create something that aligns to you. And I've had, just one story that was, really inspired me. One of my clients, her whole industry does it one way. And we kind of came up with this strategy. I was like, but what you're really bringing is something at a totally different level. Why don't you do that? And she was like, but no one's ever done that before. And I'm like, it's always going to be a first. Like, well, why not? Monkey mind is like, danger.
Pioneer it. Like, what have you got to lose? You can still do it their way. Like that's what everyone's doing, but you can do it this other way. Like, that makes sense. That's what your clients want. And she did. And she's incredibly successful just in that time. And it's like, but that was scary. It was really scary for her. And I when you're talking about that, it is scary to step out from the status quo or whatever is currently there, what the pack are doing, and maybe to do something different. But the rewards are often incredibly, like, so much bigger than what you ever thought. And it's either the lesson that you needed to learn or the win that you were aiming for. So for me, it's like, and I have my favorite ever testimonial is from one of my first ever clients, who's called Heather, and she has now a really great like brand design agency, and she now does brands for politicians. So she literally does branding for politicians, which is such an awesome niche. Yeah. And the testimonial goes like this.
Alisa doesn't just generate mini clones of Alisa. She actually gives you, actionable marketing advice for you. And, when she said that, I was like, oh, this is great. Like, I need to put it all over my website.
Yeah.
It's so true. How many
true.
marketing experts teach you like you got to package your system, and then it has to be 3 steps, and it has to be 3 sides of the same triangle, and, have to focus on this. And that's all valid. And it's all great marketing advice. But typically, it's whatever your X factor is, it's whatever you're bringing to the table that is going to make you successful. And in this case, for the bundle, for me, it was like speed. I can write copy really quickly. I can create a funnel, super quickly. I know how it works. That's one of my genius zones. And it just so happens that I have a really great, community, a small, like, loyal following of people who are willing to sort of follow me on this journey and help me execute the vision. I don't have a 10,000 person email list and, I don't know, a mansion that I live in. I love what I do, and I serve a handful of clients, and I think it's figuring out what is your superpower and amplifying that,
Yeah, absolutely. And I just wanted to say, really massive congratulations to you for stepping out of the norm and doing something that was an idea that you just didn't even know whether it was possible or not, but you've gone for it, 100% committed, and an incredible success already. And I hope that we can make it even a bigger success. So thank you for letting me share this with my audience. And thank you so much for your time today. Is there something would you like to share with people who are listening, how they can get involved and what they can do for the bundle? And obviously I'll put all of the links in the show notes as well, and in the captions.
I love it. Yes, absolutely. So the number one way for you to support this bundle is to consider donating towards it, right? So not only do you get 50 plus incredible digital products, ranging from memberships to courses to templates to swipe files, etc., but you also get incredible value for money, right? As I mentioned, it's less than $2 per product, and they're all really great programs. But that's the number one way. The link is www.alisa-k.com/act louder, which we'll link down below. The number 2 way for you to support this bundle is to share it. Share the link, get in touch with me, DM me, ask me for the Launch Squad handbook. We literally have done all of the work for you. We've got banners, we've got social media graphics, we've got captions, we've got emails, we've got pretty much anything that you can think of. We pre-made all of that stuff so that you can, leverage your platform, leverage your voice, and help us act louder for Ukraine.
Yeah, I just can't believe you pulled all this together in a week. To have all of that amazing.
I don't know either. I can't believe it either. I blinked. I blinked and then it was all done. That's how I feel.
You're just amazing. So if you're not inspired by this, I just honestly don't know who would be. If you're listening, Alisa, thank you so much for coming on here and having this great interview. You've given so much value as well. I just think to take away and to feel inspired in your business about what you actually can do when you really decide to get rid of all of the doubts and get rid of your fear and just go with it. Just get out there and do something that you feel empowered and inspired to do. Because there is no limit, is there?
There's limitless possibility, definitely.
Absolutely. The sky is the limit. So well done, and thank you so much. And thanks for being here today.
Thank you.
Do you know what the number 1 challenge reported by the women joining my Facebook community, My Tribe, said that they were struggling with their marketing in 2021, and in fact, even in 2020 as well? And that was exactly how they should reach their ideal client. How do they even get in front of them in order to build their audience in the first place? That was it. And it wasn't a pick and mix. I didn't give them that answer. It was a free text question. So they could write in there anything they wanted at all. And the number of times that I saw somebody say, how to create awareness, how to get in front of my ideal client and build my audience. So many people just challenged by it. And Why is that when there's such an abundance of ways that we can get in front of the ideal client? And I think it's probably that is exactly it. It's so overwhelming, isn't it? What should you do? What should you choose? What are the best ways? Whatever it is that you're doing right now might not be working. And I think it's a great time to sit back, reflect, and figure out what's the right way for you to do it. What are the ways that you're going to reach your prospective clients in 2022? So if that sounds like you, if that might have been what you wrote down in the questions on what is your biggest challenge with your marketing currently, then you're going to absolutely love the new freebie that I've just put together for you. It's called 12 Brilliant Ways to Reach Your Ideal Client. And in it, I share with you the 12, in my view, 12 top ways that you could use in your marketing plan this year to reach a bigger, broader audience in order to attract those ideal clients in to your inner circle, into your, really well-defined audience and become real leads for you. So if you'd like to get your hands on this brand new freebie, then all you need to do is go to jessicaosborne.com/12 ways. So it's 12 ways. Very easy. You can download it there, and this is a little bit of great resource for your planning, for the planning of the new year. See what you're going to change up. What is it that you maybe haven't been doing that you could be doing? And what are those things that you've been doing and they're not very effective, and maybe you're going to drop them out of your plan this year? So please head over, grab the freebie. If you want the link, that it's in the show notes, and let's get you moving on up, having more success with your marketing in 2022.